The second one is Dharma. I'm going to call it wisdom, giving wisdom. Somebody doesn't know and you know. And you could hold it back, but you choose not to hold back. You choose to offer it. And again, you choose to offer it without ego, without looking for something back, without the hook, sitting in your office, drumming your fingers, wondering when this is coming back. You know, when that person will come and say, oh, thank you very much. You're not looking for thank you. You're not looking for praise. You're not looking for promotion or people to say, oh, what an incredible person. He shares his wisdom. That doesn't matter to you. What matters to you is that you have something that you can share with others and will help them to improve. You improved yourself, and then you help others to improve themselves. You spread it around. And in this way, you're increasing the potential of your wisdom. Because the more you give it, the more it comes back to you. The more opportunities you have to have wisdom. And wisdom in the sense of also knowledge, to know. It's not just thinking there's no self, but it's also thinking in the right way about various situations. And I'm not saying what the right way is, but just to think in the right way, what's beneficial, what's not harmful. Okay, we talk about that when we talk about virtue. You can have good self-esteem, good confidence, but without ego. Ego comes when you're thinking in a negative way, oh, I'm much better than you. You know, that way. I am. Wait, people, I've got some incredible information, you know, and you're all going to look at me like I'm God, you know, that sort of thing. It's without that sense of a self, and I think that's why it's important that we talked about that self at the end, because now we keep coming back to, if I was being generous, would this self appear? And if it did, it would be dangerous because it's bringing with it a negative mind. In a subtle way, it's looking for the hook. It's looking for something back. And so, like I said, you go and train somebody, you show them what to do. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And they say, oh, that's incredible. And then you go away and you sit in your office and you're waiting. You know, if it's the negative, you're waiting for the boomerang to come back, for them to do something for you. It's like you gave the gift and now you're waiting for the gift back, but no gift comes back. Have a good motivation. Based on the motivation, the best action possible.
But you could be wrong.
You can be, of course you can be wrong. But I think you're wise enough to know when you're wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not stupid people. Otherwise you wouldn't have the jobs that you have. Right? So you have a level of intelligence that shows you when you're doing something beneficial or not. I think you know. And I think when you're doing it, something arises in the mind that says, I'm looking for something from this situation. I'm being tricky. Yeah? I'm looking for a reward. I think you know. And if you think, I'm looking for a reward, you think, uh-oh, I've just got myself into a dangerous situation. Because the danger is, I'm not doing this in a pure way, it's an impure way, and then the result will not be as positive as if I can remove the ego. And removing the ego in this case is not so difficult. Right? Okay? The third one is giving protection. So this is giving protection, particularly from fear. Fear. Now I find wherever I'm teaching, there's a lot of fear around the world, and people don't know why they're afraid. But they're afraid. There's fear and anxiety. And I think it's something to do with the economics, but also there's other causes and conditions for this fear. It's just fear and anxiety that arises without causes and conditions. So when you're working with others, they may also have a fear, losing jobs or the economy, one thing and another. So if you're aware of the situation and you can give protection from fear, you help to remove others' fear, then what they develop is faith in the company, in the bosses, in the executives, and also to remove doubt. Because with fear also comes doubt. You know doubt? I'm not sure, isn't it? So we have doubt, fear, anxiety, and this stresses people a lot. They become very anxious because they're not sure if they're going to keep their job, if the company is going to go bankrupt, if the stock market's going to do this, if the banks are going to disappear. Now there's a lot of turbulence. So in your particular situation, you need to become aware of the employees, the people around you, and your family, who are also reading the newspapers, right? So what's happening with the banks? What's happening with the stock market? Oh dear, what's going to happen to us? So if you have information that helps to remove fear, then there's less tension and stress around you. And then without that fear, people can work much better. And home life is much happier because there's not this underlying sense of fear. If you address the fear before people ask you, it's much more beneficial. Right? You need to address it, not to wait until they come to you like trembling and saying, I'm so afraid something's going to happen. It shouldn't get to that point. So to understand that in this present situation, there must be fear. Right? Fear amongst the general population, but also fear amongst employees, family, friends. So address the fear, but don't exaggerate. Don't say, there's no problem, the banks are fine, stock market no problem, that sort of thing. It's an exaggeration. And then people don't feel protected, they feel that you're cheating and lying them. So we need to be realistic about how to remove the fear. And the last one is giving love. So this is said to be a special one. Doesn't mean that you buy lots of roses and take roses every morning to work. But what it does mean is, I want you to be happy. So the word love means, I want you to be happy. Not meaning that you fulfill every desire of every sentient being. But I'm not going to make you unhappy. This is an active thing. It's a giving. All right? So when I see somebody who's not happy, I want them to be happy. And so I don't just walk past them thinking, they'll be okay. Leave them alone. I don't just turn away, but I turn towards them and wonder, is there something that I can do? And it may relate to material things. It could relate to giving of your wisdom. It could relate to removing the fear, protecting from fear. It could just be that they had a fight at home in the morning and they come to work and they're disturbed. And they just need somebody to say, are you okay? So that sense of, we're all human beings, we all want to be happy, and yet we're not always happy. We can acknowledge that, right? We're not always on one plane, that we're always happy. Whenever we get up, we're always the same. We're always there. Sometimes we're up and sometimes we're a bit down. And because of causes and conditions, then it depends whether up or down. And so if we can acknowledge that others are going up and down, and then pay attention to it, then you develop an incredible humanity and connection with those people, where they really appreciate you paying attention. Just by saying, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? And how you do it, and which way you do it, and whether you do it, is completely up to you. It's not that you have to do it. These are 4 suggestions on ways that you can open your heart and improve your connection with others. But you may think, well, I can't do number 4. Absolutely impossible. I can't say to one of the secretaries, are you all right? It's just not me, right? So you think, okay, start at number 1. Giving your 50 cents or your euro as much as possible to that box that's anonymous and is not going to say, thank you very much. There's nothing coming back from it. So you develop the habit. And then go to number 2. And then once you've done that, go to number 3. So it may take time. It could take a year, 2 years, 3 years. But gradually moving from one to the other so that you can get to the point where you are concerned about others, you do want others to be happy, and so you're using your resources in order to make sure they are happy as you can make them. At least you're not making them unhappy. That's the other side of it, okay?